You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. So glad you could join here again today for part 2 of our Cabral HouseCalls. We answered about 8 questions yesterday, all things health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging. And I want to give you a little bit of the highlights of what you may have missed if you didn't tune in. But we spoke about specific skin-based conditions. We talked about a deep dive on food combining and where to find out more, plus a free downloadable chart. We went over alopecia, specifically scarring-based alopecia. Talked about the detox, how people were doing well on it, reducing oxidative stress, and some herbs that can help on a daily basis as well. Talked about alcohol and how it may or may not increase the heart rate, what that can mean, and so much more. So I want you to go check out that show. That was episode 1310, stephencabral.com/1310. Today will be 1311. So all podcasts, I'll be talking about it. I just noticed this first question. I never get a chance, not that I never get a chance to review them. I choose not to review the questions that come in beforehand because I like them to be fresh. I like them to be first response, whatever's coming as that gut feeling, that intuition about what needs to be done, because I don't have anyone labs in front of me, so I don't want to get too detailed because this is not medical advice. What I'm doing is I'm giving you that place to get started. I'm recommending a protocol or something else to look into, seeing a practitioner, running the specific lab, but absolutely giving you a qualified second opinion of what you might be missing right now, and it can be the difference maker of how you're able to turn your life around, because that's what we've been able to see, not just me, but my entire team over here, and I'm excited to share some of that, hopefully, knowledge today. So let's get into the first question. It's from Susanne. It says, "Hi, the last year I've been getting tons of cherry angiomas appearing on my skin. I have no idea what the root cause might be. What makes them appear? What is the root cause? I'm not pregnant or on birth control. If you had them or they started appearing in your skin, Dr. Ball, what would you do yourself to prevent getting more?" What I'd like you to do, Susanne, is go right back to, and I'm going to do it with you right now, and I'm going to go and I'm just going to do a copy on angiomas, and I'm going to go to stephencabral.com/podcasts. And then about one scroll down the page, one little movement down the page, you're going to find a search box below my face, my little portrait there. All right, we're going to type in angiomas, and you will see it is on episode 463, and I'm on episode 1199. All right, so you'll be able to see what to do about cherry angiomas and what they potentially come from. All right, Jennette's up next. "Hello, I just finished the CBO protocol at the end of May, but then I developed these small, dry red patches under my eyes and on my right eyelid. I've been applying colloidal silver ointment, which helps to clear it up, but if I stop, it just comes back. It gets dry and flaky, and someone says it's eczema. Never had this before and wondering what could be causing it." So it could be eczema. Absolutely could be. And it could be caused by multiple things. Did you change detergents? Did you change shampoos? Did you change any type of makeup? All possibilities. You want to look also at overall stress. Did overall stress increase? You also want to look at food reintroductions. Did you begin to eat new foods? Because you're off the detox now. If there was anything causing that, it would have gone away. But what might you be reintroducing now food-wise, even healthy foods, that you might be sensitive to or causing eczema? If you have any dairy in your diet, we want to get that out. If you've added back in gluten or anything like that, take it back out. So, really, really important. So it says that finish the CBO protocol. I want to make sure that you did the heal and seal as well, right? That you're off of those products and that you're sealing up the gut wall, because there's a lot of food reintroductions that come at the end of the CBO protocol. You might have been doing well in the beginning when you were on an elimination diet. You might go back to that elimination diet for 10 days or 3 weeks. And if eczema starts to go down on its own, okay, well, then it's some type of nut, or it's dairy, or it's gluten, or it's grains, or it's some food that's causing you this reaction. I know you'll be able to find it. Go back to a simple elimination diet to start, maybe the detox, and allow yourself to really figure out what this is so that you don't need to use the colloidal silver, which is an antimicrobial, antibacterial. It could be antifungal, right? I mean, it could be fungal based. So we don't know what it is. It could be topical fungal based. If that's the case, well, we could use a little bit of tea tree oil with mixed, diluted with a little bit of olive oil. We could use a little bit of grapefruit seed extract, diluted as well, just to make sure not to get it in the eyes themselves. So multiple reasons why, but I know that you'll be able to kind of trace back your steps to when you didn't have it, start to mimic that, and get a lot of results from there. All right. Valeria is up next. Based on your podcast on the EMF vibrations impacting human vibration, which can cause illness like cancer, what's your take on fat loss ultrasonic devices? All right, that's a good question. I've never answered this one before, so happy to answer that right now. Okay. Well, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the technology-based devices that never look at root cause-based issues. So, if we want to look at fat loss ultrasonic devices, really what are we talking about? One, we're essentially talking about a massager. And something that massages, that can tone and tighten and rework the fascia under the skin is what can help you look like you're losing fat in the area, but really what it's doing is it's helping with some cellulite. And even at that, you want to look into my shows on cellulite, where I talk about detoxification and I talk about exercise and toning up the muscles that way. I talk about myofascial release, which is kind of like this massage tool, but you can just use a dry brush. You can use self-massage. These ultrasonic fat devices, they typically get terrible reviews as well. I always reserve my right to change my mind in the future. And that's what it's called about being open, right? I don't have to set myself in any particular dogma. But for right now, they're going to do no better than a self-massage and no better than a dry brush. Now, I like some of the manual. They're not electric-based devices, though, and they work like suction cups. That can work great, too. It's fascial reforming, redistribution. But again, you still want to work on detoxification. You want to lose fat the healthy way. You don't want to be in a low-carb diet. You don't want to be too catabolic and lose muscle tone. So there's many factors that go into cellulite. So now you don't have to worry about the EMFs. They're certainly not a good thing, but the devices are not something I recommend either way. All right, Tina's up next. I'm a personal trainer who also thinks like a functional medicine practitioner, and I'm working with a client who was recently diagnosed with sarcoidosis. Her health provider helped her link the root cause to exposure to bat or chicken manure. What are the essential next steps for this client? And if steroids are recommended, is this the best answer? So Tina, appreciate you writing in. Appreciate you looking out for your client without a doubt. Here's the thing. Be real difficult. It's possible. Definitely possible. But to be exposed to bat or chicken manure, well, what's that doing to the body? It's possible. It's possible your immune system had this big reaction to it. But did the bacteria get into her body? Where has it taken space? Has it taken space in the gut? I don't know that I agree with this root cause-based issue. That could be a true root cause. She was exposed to this. But what's the current issue now? Like if she's no longer being exposed to bat or chicken manure, which can be toxic, by the way, what's it done in her body now? Because she's already eliminated the exposure. So now what do we have to look at? And no, steroids, I don't believe, are the best answer. Because what are they doing to create an environment where sarcoidosis, which is an autoimmune-based disorder, can't live, right? So for me, with sarcoidosis, I need to go back to yeast and fungal-based overgrowth. A lot of great research on the two tying each other together. So what would I have your client do? Well, just point them to Equilibrium Nutrition or their functional medicine doctor and have them run an organic acids test. That's a real easy way, and that's what I would do. And then if you could do one more, I would do the stool test. So, of course, I love the big five, but if you're trying to, watch what you spend and really just kind of choose one or two labs for your client, organic acids test and stool test. That's what I recommend first, then the hair tissue mineral analysis, then the thyroid adrenal hormone, and then the omega-3, and then the food sensitivity test. All right. So thank you, Tina, for writing in. Morgan's up next. Hi, what would you recommend for someone who has liver and colon cancer? Just wasn't sure which products to start with. Thanks. All right. So Morgan, I appreciate you writing in. There's no way that I could possibly give you a recommendation for someone that has liver and colon cancer over a podcast. I understand, why people ask the questions, and I appreciate it. I mean, of course, I understand. But it's unfortunate, but there is no simple answer. I mean, I wish there was, but hey, if it was that easy, right, then we would just be like, hey, read this article and cure liver and colon cancer. I can't do that. I wish that I could, but I'm always honest with you. And there's simply I have no ability to give you the protocol to help get rid of liver or colon cancer. I can help with cancer support, and we can do those types of things. And it's giving the body all the nutrients it needs, right? I would at least start with something like the daily foundational protocol. But here's the thing. I can't make that recommendation to you, because what if the someone you know is on blood thinners? Well, then they can't be doing fish oil. And what if the someone you know can't be using things that might ramp up detoxification because of liver-based issues? So ethically and morally, I can't make a recommendation. I wish that I could. What I recommend, though, is checking out the website cancertutor.com, looking into centers like the Gerson Institute. There are many others out there. Cancer Center of America has sometimes some good naturopathic doctors and medical doctors working together, along with acupuncturists. So there's many things that you could look at. I recommend looking at all of them, because no one's the best ever at everything. And that's where I recommend starting. And I wish you and whoever this person is that means a lot to you that they make a quick and safe recovery. All right. Mishan is up next. Hi, Dr. Ball. I'm so grateful for everything you do. You've changed my life for the best, and I can't thank you enough. My question is this. My aunt has rheumatoid arthritis and has been on steroids and biological meds for 30 years now. She does not want my help from IHP training, and instead she's considering stem cell treatment since she heard it eliminates inflammation. I've understood that stem cells act more like anti-inflammatory substance in the body and do not address the root cause. Can you speak about how stem cells work for RA? Do they eliminate the root cause of autoimmunity, or are they still a Band-Aid-based approach? Thank you. Yeah, Mishan, I appreciate that. And there's a lot of people, which, let's be honest, the majority of the world, that is not interested. And one is they've been indoctrinated into a certain way of thinking that conventional medicine and drug-based therapy is the only way, and that they don't want to do any specific work. Remember, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but I also want to be realistic. I don't know if this is a family member, it does not matter, right? It doesn't matter. I work with a lot of people with rheumatoid arthritis, and I mean a lot. A lot of experience with working with RA. Had it myself when I was 17. All my grandparents had it. Both my parents have it. So, had it. That's the thing. What can I say? Yeah, stem cell therapy is not getting to the root cause. I don't have an issue with stem cell therapy for the most part. I really don't. I don't want people to think that I do. But what I would love, and I like that more for regeneration and healing, for sure. And I know that it's going to become even more significant in the future with healing and repair of joints and other issues like that. But I want to look at it a little differently. What are we doing to look at the root cause? And with rheumatoid arthritis, I can't stress this enough, and I've never seen anybody heal without addressing gut-based issues. So I talk about lupus and other issues like that. Yeah, it absolutely can be some gut-based. Lupus is a lot of times viral, heavy metal, and stress-based. It can have gut issues as well. Rheumatoid arthritis, show me someone with rheumatoid arthritis that does not have massive gut-based dysfunction. Typically, there's anger and a lot of other things there as well in the background, if I have to be honest, which I want to be. But there's gut issues for sure. I would like them to explore that. And if they're a database person, great. Run an organic acids test, a stool test, and a food sensitivity test. I've seen dramatic changes in people's lives by healing the gut. That's it. Now, if your friend, family member needed to use drug-based therapy because that's what they're into, well, another thing that you might want to look into, and again, I'm not making medical recommendation, is called low-dose naltrexone. Low-dose naltrexone, look into the side effects, look into the pros and cons, but it's low dose, very low dose. And it helps to better regulate the immune system. Now, is that fixing the root cause? Absolutely not. But is it kind of like the best of all the evils? Looks that way. And a lot of people use it with good results. Now, would I love them to get complete remission and really look at the underlying causes? Of course. But not everyone, is going to do that. So there's a couple different recommendations. All right, we are moving right along today. Kim's up next. Hello, Dr. Brawl. My name is Kim. I'm 52 years old. I have type 1 juvenile diabetes for 36 years. I've worn an insulin pump for 15 years. My A1C was 6.1. It fluctuates between 5.7 and 6.3. I've been keto for a year and a half, and I feel like it's really helped my blood sugar. I do intermittent fasting daily for about 14 to 16 hours, eat 2 meals a day. Very clean, occasional cheat. I belong to a gym, work out 3 to 4 days a week. My question is, you don't recommend the keto diet and you encourage 3 meals a day and the first meal of the day being a smoothie. How does a diabetic adapt to that way of eating without needing added insulin? I keep my carbs below 50 grams a day. I have food sensitivities to dairy and eggs and shellfish. I am also postmenopausal, have digestive issues. I'm not overweight. I'm 5'6", 140, wear a size 6, but I don't feel 100%. I wake up stiff and achy and actually dread going to bed because I don't sleep well and toss and turn all night, aches and pains. Would love to hear you do an episode on or two on type 1 diabetes. Yeah, it's a great question. So type 1 diabetes is an actual, true disease, not that there are untrue diseases. And I actually believe that type 1 diabetes will be able to be reversed in the future. And funny that we just mentioned stem cells, because I actually believe it will be done partially with stem cells. A lot of people believe type 1 diabetes is a autoimmune-based issue from virus, from all sorts of different things in childhood. Potentially could be. I'm not going to speculate. But regardless, the body's not doing a good job at regulating blood sugar, right? Because it's not producing insulin. Very different. Okay, so you're on a keto-based diet. You keep your carbs below 50 grams a day. The problem is, as a type 1 diabetic, and I hope that your doctor told you this, you have to be very careful about going into ketoacidosis. I don't know if this is true or not, but it sounds like you might be walking that tightrope. You're having aches and pains, difficulty sleeping, quite stiff. So I would be careful. I'd be careful that your body is not moving into ketoacidosis. And if you haven't been using keto-based sticks to test, well, I would look at that. I would absolutely look to just make sure that as a type 1 diabetic, which this could be more dangerous than others, that this isn't getting to be an issue. Because when the blood becomes more acidic, that's an issue. That's one thing to look at. The second is you seem to be doing a decent job regulating your hemoglobin A1C between 5.7 and 6.3. And for a type 1 diabetic, that's pretty good. You wore an insulin pump for the past 15 years. So, well, it seems like you're doing the right thing, but the issue is this, is you can still eat breakfast and your body will produce the right amount of insulin, or your insulin pump will release the right amount of insulin, not too much, not too little. So your body will adapt to the 3 meals per day. But also, you can eat some carbohydrates, potentially more than 50 grams a day, and be able to utilize those, specifically if they're timed post-workout, or maybe even a little bit pre-workout, and then first thing in the morning. With diabetics that I work with, typically we're doing first in the morning. We're not overdoing any one meal. And you don't have to do the same either. You could get 20, 25 grams per meal. You're at 50 grams now. I mean, you would just add a little bit more over 3 meals. And you're going to have protein and fat and fiber with each of those meals to slow that down. And you just see how your body works. So that's that. But I actually don't have a problem with you doing a 14-hour fast. I don't have a problem with that. So, I mean, hard for me to fine-tune this over a podcast, but you'll be able to do it. And getting your 10,000 steps per day, and then again, doing even let's just say you do a late afternoon workout, and then, you have dinner afterwards and you have carbs there. And then the carbs at night are going to help you sleep better. Because it sounds like you're depriving your body of carbohydrates. So you're not producing as many of the positive neurotransmitters, which allow you to produce more serotonin, which allows you to produce more melatonin. So there's multiple factors in this. And also keep in mind, carbohydrates are a great way to block or shunt and quiet down cortisol, where fat and protein aren't. So I'm just a little bit worried about the long-term health of this diet because remember, blood sugar is not the end-all be-all. It's very important for anti-aging, but we know that we can regulate this through your insulin pump, and I'm not saying that you want to overdo this, but there's more factors to look at than just blood sugar. So hopefully that was helpful. I want to get in one more question. All right, this is from Rash. So here we go. Dear all, I am keen undertaking the training course offered by Dr. Stephen Cabral, and I would like to take the Big 5 lab test. I love to work out and play football, go running, carry out yoga, and hit workouts regularly. I am from Asian Indian background. My father has type 2 diabetes. My mother is marginally obese, not diagnosed with anything. I would like to avoid this in the future. Before I go ahead, can you please tell me how I can prepare for tests and which tests I may need to improve fitness and health? Although I'm not a severe case, I do have mild symptoms of anxiety and depression. I also take live bacteria to try to improve any bad bacteria. Diet is now changed to plain rice, carrot juice, loads of veggies and salad and fish. However, too much salad causes diarrhea. I would really like to help myself get better, so one day I can help others. I hope you can help me. Raj, I'd be happy to help you. And yeah, I'm happy to help. And I would love for you to be able to share this with anyone that you believe that it could serve. And so, well, here's the thing. It sounds like your diet overall is pretty good, but it's not digesting very well with you. So the Big 5 tests, without a doubt, is the place to start. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you want to learn everything about your body, I mean, really, like Big 5 lab tests, and then add the stool test if you have digestive issues. So, Raj, that's what I'm recommending for you. But let's say that you can't afford the Big 5 lab test plus the stool test. Let me give you a breakdown then of order importance that I'm just looking at reading this question. Organic acids test is number 1. Stool test is number 2. Hair tissue mineral analysis number 3. Thyroid adrenal number 4. Thyroid adrenal hormone number 4. Food sensitivity number 5. Omega-3 test number 6. It's not that those last ones aren't important, but I know that we can give you a standard elimination diet for the food, and I know that we can also give you a good dosage of omega-3s if you're not able to run those. So that's what I would do, and then I would love you to join the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute and either take the course or become a certified health coach. It actually opens tomorrow, which is just fortuitous timing of you bringing that up. So we haven't opened for 10 weeks, but we're opening tomorrow at integrativehealthpractitioner.org. It's an amazing community of people from all over the world. And I don't know where you do live, US, Asia, India, I have no idea. But here's the thing. I want this to be global. I want this message to be global. So I would love people to share it with their first family, then their coworkers and then bigger community, and then bring it out there to the world. You know, post on social media, teach people. That's what it's all about. So the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, IHP, we teach people the de-stress protocol. And you either take it as a course or you can get certified to then teach it to others. And then in level 2, you can actually learn how to use the lab. So yeah, it's our favorite thing. I mean, like, we love it because we love to teach. We're really a teaching practice. We see people every single day, but we're a teaching practice. We teach others how to heal others, right? So our tagline for IHP, the Integrative Health Practitioner, is heal yourself, heal others. That's what it's all about, paying it forward. That's what I'm doing right now on the podcast. You know, I learned over 10 years how to get well, and then I was in practice for another, how long, 10 plus years before I started the podcast. And now it's just my way of trying to give back on a daily basis to people all over the world. So thank you, Raj. Thank you, everyone, for writing in. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the reviews on iTunes and your other MP3 players. If you haven't reviewed, it would mean the world to me if you left a review. I read them all, and I thank you. And be sure to tune in tomorrow for our Motivation and Mindset Monday. Take care, everyone. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rainbarrel.